Hi guys, I am in Austin, Texas. This is my favorite park in Austin. It's by a creek and I just love coming here for a walk or to read. But I have an online business, so if you haven't watched any of my videos, I publish books and my business allows me to be anywhere in the world. I could be in Europe right now, I could be in Asia where it's much more affordable. I could be by a beach with crystal clear water, but I'm in Texas. And why did I choose to come here out of all places? So to start off, I am from Romania. I grew up in Eastern Europe, and ever since I was little, I had this vision in my mind about the US. I've always felt this pull towards the US. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I think part of it was that idea of the American dream and that anything is possible, and I've always wanted to come here. You can ask any of my family members or any of my long-term friends and they would know this about me. So now I'm here and I have to say that it did fulfill all of my expectations and more. I know there is a lot of there are a lot of negative opinions about the US. I think a lot of people in Europe look down upon America or things that are happening here, especially politically. But my experience so far has been great. I think the thing that has impressed me the most is how driven people are and how ambitious they are. So to give you an example, when I first landed in Austin, my Uber driver who picked me up from the airport, he's a local and he has 3 side hustles. He has a startup, he also started a small business writing poems for gift cards, and it started out by doing that for friends and family, and now he just runs that business. And he was doing Uber as a side hustle, and that was so inspiring to me. And I've had that experience multiple times now with Uber drivers. I've met another guy who is doing trading on the side, and it's just so beautiful to see how driven and ambitious people are here. People have a can-do attitude here. They truly believe that you can do things. And I have met quite a few people here now, and I've made some friends, and some of them I told about the new business that I want to start, and every single time I told someone, they all told me, yes, go for it, why not, just go ahead and do it. Whereas my experience is that in Europe, people tend to be more reluctant, they tend to be more risk averse, and they first think about the things that could go wrong. And it's always that mindset of maybe you should be a bit more realistic. Maybe you should take into consideration the bad things that can happen. But I don't want to be realistic. I don't believe that you become successful by being realistic. I think you have to dream about doing the impossible and then actually go ahead and do it. Not just talk about it, but do it. I've noticed that here too, which is that people actually do things. I went to so many events, founder events, where I met other business owners, and some of them even brought their own products that they created from scratch to these meetups, to these events, so that you could try them and test them. And to me, that's so inspiring to see. Because so many times you meet people, who have ideas or they want to do something and they love to talk about it. But anyone can talk about it, I have so many goals, but they are pretty much useless unless you do something about it. And related to this, there's a funny thing that happened, that's kind of stuck with me. It's that because I do publishing and I publish books, whenever I meet someone new and I tell them what I do, the first thing that people tell me is, oh, I would love to one day publish my own book, write a biography about my life or my experience, And here in Austin, actually, for the first time, I met someone. I told him what I do, and the first thing that he told me was, oh, I actually wrote and published a book about his life so far. And that was just so satisfying to hear. For the first time, someone telling me not one day I want to do this, but I already did that. And then he showed me his book. It was actually great. But I just think people here tend to dream bigger, and when you are surrounded by people who dream bigger or who truly believe that things are possible, that anything is possible, you start acting differently yourself. And I think I noticed my mindset shifting a lot too, where, before, when you have a little voice in your head that says, maybe it's best not to take that risk, or maybe it's best to, just stay safe and do just the business that you already know how to do. Why try something new when that can be so risky? But now I've kind of learned to tone that voice down and to really listen more to, the voice that says, no, I can actually do this. And it's even more fun to just take the risk. And seeing people who take risks is inspiring and makes you believe in it too. And unfortunately, in Europe, a lot of people don't take the risk because Europe is not business friendly. Europe does kind of everything to stop people from starting a business. That's why every single person that started a business in Europe and they started becoming successful, they move to the US, they move to San Francisco, or they move to all these places where things are happening, which makes a lot of sense. It's just the logical thing to do. So I'm not saying that this country is perfect. Of course, it has its downsides, but I truly believe and feel that the American dream is still alive. I think people can do anything, and I honestly believe it's a better environment to be in, where people believe you can do things. And yes, it might be weird that I am in the US because obviously the cost of living is higher here. I have an online business. I sell in the United States, but my income stays the same whether I'm here or somewhere else. So some people might think, oh, but you could just take advantage of the fact that you can be anywhere and just, get more value for your money. But what matters the most is, am I asking myself whether the place I choose to be in inspires me or it allows me to grow? Because that's another tricky thing that comes when you can be anywhere in the world. You have endless options and you could literally go anywhere. So then it kind of pushes you more to ask yourself, what do you want in life, and also what do you want from the place that you're in? What is it that you need from that place? And then when you answer that question, you can see which place is best for you or for the stage that you're at in life. And I think for me right now, it's just great to feel the inspiration that I have here and to see all the people taking action and doing things and literally going for the impossible. Because I've met so many incredible and smart people who are doing things that I wouldn't have gotten the chance to meet these people in person if I hadn't come to the US, to be honest. And I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for my business that it allows me to be here, but also that I made that decision to, just take the risk and come here and see what it's like. And my final message is to any European who wants to come here, because I'm pretty sure, I know that a lot of people talk negatively about the US, but I am pretty sure there are Europeans out there who have the same view, like a positive view about the US. And I know that they exist because I met a girl here. She was from the Netherlands, and we met at the founders event, and then we went and had dinner together, and we kind of had this pull towards the US, and we felt like we have to be here. And unfortunately she had to go back to Europe, but I'm pretty sure I will see her again. Like, we are very similar in our mindset. And that's what I've realized, is that Europeans that you meet here, of course, they are here because they like being here. So they have a different view and they have different values, I would say. So I just wanted to make this video because I'm pretty sure there are people out there who think the same way I do. And there's a lot of noise out there that, oh, the US is such a bad place, or like politically it's not okay, but the US is still the greatest country, in my opinion. And being here, I have the confirmation. And yes, I love Texas and I love America, and the American dream is still alive. Thank you for watching.